Hi, hello, it's John Binnie. Wow, it is a very wet day here in Scotland. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. I am off to Naked Revive. Naked Revive, Naked Revive, come along to help you feel alive. Yeah. Does that count as my song today? Guess you'll have to decide. It's been a very exciting 24 hours, and the excitement continues. Where do I start? Well, I spent the weekend. You saw driving videos for me on Saturday to massage training and back, and then Sunday. And in hindsight, I think, as you'll find out in later updates, maybe not the best idea to have worked Sunday, but especially after a day of training on Saturday. But I decided I would develop my training course, so I started developing more content for the Higher Self Advanced training, which was just wonderful, like going into such depth, some of which, I've never taught before and experienced, quite a few times, but there's definitely like healing at a cellular level. Osteoblasts, osteocytes, and osteoclasts, which are different cells within the bones, for building, maturing, and then rejuvenating. Not in that order that I gave them, but they're thereabouts. But their names are perhaps less important than the ability to see them, talk to them, and also help clear them and heal them, which is a lovely practice to be able to do. Let me flip you around so you can enjoy the Scottish weather. It's funny, it feels like it hasn't rained in quite some time. And Sunday, you probably saw some photos from me. My son and I went down to the harbour. We had fish and chips, and it was lovely. The weekend weather was really lovely. Yesterday, Monday, that was a busy day. So in the morning, I've been preparing for my Indian head massage final exam. So that happens at the end of the week. So I was doing some last minute kind of memorizing of the sequences just to make sure that I've got it clear in my head. And it's just so funny how we can have resistance to practicing something, when memorizing something, should I say. So I love practicing it, but I also love having my notes and just kind of parrot fashion learning. I do have a bit of resistance to, but I think I'm fairly good at it, and seem to pick it up quite quickly. And I do feel once I then practice it a couple more times, it's just etched in my memory for eternity, like reflexology, isn't it? Actually, and Swedish massages as well. The other stuff I was up to yesterday, if you're on my weekly newsletter, you got my weekly newsletter talking about the fifth dimensional earth, which was just lovely to share my truth about. And I also did 3 podcasts, two podcasts, and then a collaboration on a guided meditation. And the latter hasn't been released yet. So I met with the amazing Leah Solmaz, and we were talking about conscious marketing and how we, I think it's a camper van overtaking me. How we do, how we start when we start businesses, why do we need marketing, what do we need to do? And then there was also the aspects of telling your story. And it's funny because I was talking exactly about this. I was talking about telling my story, my journey. It's a big part, I feel, of my work and my service to others. Is sharing my journey, and I feel it's because I want to lead by example, and I would love other people to do this, right? Like or should I say, more people. I don't think it's unique, but I would encourage more people to explain how they're feeling each day and the challenges and the hurdles that they work through. Like, people are fascinating, right? Especially all the stuff we don't think is fascinating about us. So that was really lovely to connect with her, and I also get to meet her at the end of the month when I go on my road trip down into England, which would be fantastic. So looking forward to that too, and I'm sure at very least we'll get a selfie or something. And what else? So I also did just an amazing podcast with Sarah from UFO Girly, and it was really magical. Really enjoyed connecting with her again. It's the second time we've come together in a podcast and sharing a bit about her UFO experiences, and then also like the practices of how to help prepare yourself, how to open up your heart in particular, spiritual and energetic hygiene. Many of these things I also teach at the start of my higher self foundational training, and it was just lovely which I found very validating, because it's like, when you, like, I felt kind of guided, I was guided to, but also intuitively, that cleaning up my own act energetically would help me, really help me on the journey of serving others. Really help me open up my heart, and opening up your heart, help you activate your psychic abilities and more. And then she also channeled a message from my guides, which was lovely, because she said just before we went and started the recording, she said, "Oh, would you like to hear this message now, or do it in the recording?" And I said, "Oh, I'd love it in the recording." So she gave me this message, and it was just so powerful. She said, first of all, it was from 3 guides, and it was really funny because just a couple of hours before, I was reflecting on how 3 of my guides have been the most dominant of my spirit guides of the 8, certainly in terms of their contact, like the amount of energy and time they spend with me directly. And those 3 are Maya, my Earth Elemental guide, Marita, my Mantis guide, and then Eminchal, my Lyran guide. And that was just really wonderful to experience and to reflect on. And then the next thing is she talked a lot about me, like, taking on too much, working too hard, and not resting enough. And that was such a powerful message, because, and she explained in a lot more detail, right? You'd have to watch the video, but it was so powerful for me, because I just, there's still something in me that wants to work a lot. And what I found fascinating was when I did that session with Chloe, it seemed like it had an immediate impact. So this is just last Thursday. Her session had an immediate impact on my diet, which was fascinating, right? Which was, I just decided that I didn't really need to snack anymore, because I already eat like quite big portions of food. I eat a lot. And so it's like, oh, I don't need to really snack. And it was always a way of trying to fill that, one of the ways to fill that void within me. And so now that I've kind of unpicked that a bit more and learned more about that past life, that that triggered a pattern that needed healing in this respect. I realized, okay, now I need to, really focus on the work side. And this is one of the last times, I think this is the second last time I'll be at Naked Revive for a session that is part of a regular booking. So that's a milestone in itself. Thereafter, it will be ad hoc bookings, and I'll be doing them at home as well. So the reason I say that in the context about being tired is that my pattern over recent weeks, so over the last 6 weeks, including last night, I was running my training till about 11. I get, off work, if you like, about 11 p.m. at night, and then I'm just sleeping for 5 hours, and 5 or 6 hours at most, probably about 5. It takes me a while to wind down. So I'm sleeping by midnight, up at 5, and then I go into a full day of face-to-face sessions, which are often quite intense, and I love them, but it is too much for me to be doing so much online work as well as so much in-person work. So instead, I'll, as I mentioned, do them in person, and then also book Naked Revive ad hoc. I'm also looking into different events, one at Naked Revive, one at the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle Centre, and more. So just finding more ways to get more rest, to have more flexibility. So that's really good. The other thing I was reflecting on is, does the advanced training course really need to be developed at pace, at such urgency? I was thinking, I really want to finish it before my summer holiday. I don't know that it needs to be done by then. No one's actually signed up for it yet. And as soon as I lock in a date, I always want to keep my promises. So as soon as I lock in a date for it, I will, feel compelled to deliver the course then. So, and in fact, I don't think anyone has signed up. I need to check on this. Maybe 1 or 2 people signed up for the course later in the year. But I should definitely reflect on that as well. When can people book? When are the dates that this should happen? I think the other thing that surprised me about, maybe, okay, it wasn't a surprise, but Sarah, UFO Girlie, in our chat was saying that something big is happening and that something is coming for me. That sounds terrible. Something like a big reward, like a lot of payback for all the hard work and effort I've been putting in, which, frankly speaking, I feel like I've received already. I feel like I have. I feel so blessed. But perhaps this is more about the emotion of it, right? Like being able to fully step into that and accept it. And lo and behold, I woke up to an email this morning from Google saying that my photos for cafe and restaurants reviews, and the reviews themselves, had over 50,000, something like 53,000 views. And I think that's just happened in the last year or so. And I love eating out. I love going to places. It's like when I do a world tour, it's like I want to do a world tour of the food. That's the most fun, right? And that was really wonderful to experience. Just grateful for people that are finding my photos and restaurant and cafe reviews rewarding. And so, that I just felt there is something big coming, and that I need to be rested for that, right? When I went on Linda's channel in November, first went on it in November last year, and things really took off for me. I was well rested before then, at very least in the days prior to that. So it makes sense for me to, not just assume that I can somehow live on the edge of my what's happy and healthy for me, and just survive another day, but and be really quite up and down, but really need to enforce more self-care. I also feel, I was reflecting on this morning that it might be smaller number of hours, like, so if I do like 1, 2, 3 or 4 client sessions, it's only like 4 hours of work. I think that's mentally a bit of a block for me, is that, or kind of constraint in my thinking, is that it feels a little bit like 4 hours work, but it is very draining work, right? And so I remember when I first started years ago, I could only do 1 session a week, and then I could only do 2 sessions in a week. So it'd take me days to recover, and I could feel the physical effects for days. Now, in part, I guess my body is also used to it, but also my practices and the way that I work has changed, so that I can do multiple per day. But it doesn't mean that's a happy, healthy balance for me, right? So today's much better anyway. Today is 3, and only 2 of those are psychic sessions. One is a reflexology session, so that'll be good. So good to have that mix. So yeah, that was wonderful. So yeah, please do check out the lovely podcast I did with Sarah UFO Girly, and we'll be back on Together in Podcast in May. In May, yes, it is in May. I just couldn't remember the dates, but it's about a month. And what else was there? Oh yes, and I did a beautiful guided meditation channeled message collaboration with the amazing Angelically Aligned by Samantha. And she, we both worked together to do some protection for people that are experiencing any kind of fear or energetic or otherwise attacks. And that was a really beautiful experience. And it's one of the first times I think I've really sat down and taken it in turns like that. I have done a lot of work with others, especially Natasha, in person, which isn't shared so much, but online. But it's really lovely to collaborate like that. And I feel like simply when you collaborate on these videos, on these meditations together, just go with what feels right for you. And I always, non-negotiable for me is a safe space. So I always create a safe space. And then I also do things like, my tenets, my principles, such as, never forcing anything to return to source, are still very important to me, etc. So I think these are, important things to do. But really, we would just take it in turns to do something, and then channel a message, do some healing or clearing or protection, and then when we felt like we kind of completed that little task, we then go on and let the other person go on and do their part. I think this is traffic lights, I guess. The bus just hasn't just stopped. So there's no bus stop there. What else is going on this week? Well, my wife and daughter will be back soon from Spain, which is, I've really missed them. It's just been very liberating, and it was also like a stark reminder. I was thinking, if I lived alone, for example, would I just work all the time? Would I burn myself out because there's less pressure to be around family members? Spend time with my family, and that was a little bit scary too. So, because I think in truth that was part of the reason why I worked Sunday, when really I didn't need to. It is a dreich day. Anyway, I'm going to get on and drive up to the car park and take all my stuff over. So I have reflexology, so it's reflexology foot massage, not psychic, non-psychic reflexology. And then after that, I'm doing, really excited to actually, an in-person quantum psychic healing session, which is quite rare that I do like a full session like that in person. They are part of psychic reflexology and psychic massage and psychic Indian head massage, but it tends to be shorter, like 10 or 20 minute bursts. So this will be real lovely to do a full session. And then I have an online session, and then I'll be packing up and heading back at quite a reasonable time. I think I'll finish about 4 p.m. today, and no work after that, just heading home, and I'll be catching up with my son, getting his dinner, and with Patch, of course. My son is studying just now, so and he's just been such a star while my wife's been away. He's really stepped up. He's doing his study fantastically without having to be harassed into doing it. He's just been getting on with it himself. And also Patch has been good, although Patch did refuse a morning walk. I think it's just because he was tired and it was raining, because then I let him out in the back garden. He seemed to run around fine, so I don't think he's feeling unwell or anything. But maybe just not well enough for the weather. Is that a thing? Well enough for the weather as a term. So, yeah, that's me. Thank you so much for watching, and please do check out my podcasts and collaborations with Leah Solmaz, with Sarah at UFO Girly, and later today I'll post my collaboration with Angelically Aligned by Samantha. Take care, everyone, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of day. Wow, this car park's quiet. Okay, sending love. Thank you. Bye.